Designing a kitchen in a small space can feel a little overwhelming at first, especially when you're constantly seeing images of huge, airy kitchens with endless counters and islands big enough to host a dinner party. But once you get past that comparison, small space kitchens actually start to make a lot of sense. They can be cozy, efficient, and surprisingly beautiful when they're designed with intention. A small kitchen forces you to think about how you really live and cook, and that's not a bad thing at all. The biggest shift usually happens when you stop trying to make a small kitchen behave like a large one. You don't need every appliance, every gadget, or every storage option you've ever seen. Small space kitchen design is about editing. It's about choosing what matters most and letting go of what doesn't serve you. When the kitchen supports your daily habits instead of working against them, it immediately feels more comfortable and more spacious. Color plays a huge role in how a small kitchen feels. Light colors are often recommended because they reflect light and help open up the space, but light doesn't have to mean boring. Warm whites, soft creams, pale grays, and subtle pastels can all make a small kitchen feel airy without looking sterile. If you love darker colors, you don't have to avoid them completely. Using a deep shade on lower cabinets or a single wall can add depth and character without making the space feel closed in. Cabinet design is especially important in a small space because cabinets dominate the visual landscape. Simple, clean lines tend to work best because they don't overwhelm the eye. Flat front cabinets or ones with minimal detailing keep the space looking calm. Open shelving or glass front cabinets can also help break up the heaviness of solid cabinetry. They create visual breathing room and make the kitchen feel more open, even when the footprint stays the same. Storage is often the biggest concern in a small kitchen, and smart design can make all the difference. Instead of focusing on how much storage you have, it helps to focus on how usable it is. Deep drawers are often more practical than traditional lower cabinets because you can actually see and reach everything. Vertical storage, like tall cabinets or shelves that go all the way up to the ceiling, takes advantage of height without eating up floor space. Even small gaps can become valuable storage with the right pull-out or narrow shelf. Countertops are another precious element in small kitchens, and keeping them as clear as possible goes a long way in making the space feel larger. This often means being selective about what lives on the counter. Appliances you use daily can stay out, but everything else should have a home. Integrated appliances or compact versions can also help maintain clean lines and uninterrupted surfaces, which visually expand the space. Lighting is one of the most underrated aspects of small space kitchen design. A single overhead light can make the room feel flat and shadowy, especially in corners. Layered lighting changes everything. Under cabinet lighting makes food prep easier and adds a soft glow that makes the kitchen feel warmer and more inviting. Good lighting doesn't just make the kitchen look better, it makes it more enjoyable to spend time in. Backsplashes can add personality without overwhelming a small kitchen if they're chosen carefully. Simple tiles, subtle textures, or a consistent pattern can add interest without visual chaos. Glossy or reflective finishes bounce light around the room and help it feel brighter. In a small space, keeping the backsplash cohesive with the rest of the kitchen usually works better than using something overly bold or busy. Layout is where small kitchen design really comes together. The goal is to make movement easy and intuitive. You shouldn't feel like you're constantly squeezing past things or reaching too far for essentials. Galley and L-shaped layouts are popular in small spaces because they keep everything within reach. When the layout works with your habits, the kitchen feels bigger and more efficient, even if the square footage is limited. Open-plan small kitchens bring their own set of considerations. When the kitchen is part of a larger living space, it needs to blend in visually. Choosing finishes that flow with the surrounding room helps the kitchen feel less cramped and more cohesive. Simple cabinetry, neutral colors, and thoughtful lighting allow the kitchen to feel like part of the home rather than a separate, cluttered zone. Texture can make a small kitchen feel warm and layered without taking up any extra space. Wood accents, stone surfaces, or even subtle textured cabinet fronts add depth and character. These elements keep the kitchen from feeling too flat or clinical. The key is balance. Too many textures can make a small space feel busy, but just a few well-chosen ones can add a lot of visual interest. Appliance choice matters more in a small space than people often realize. Large appliances can dominate the room and make everything feel tighter. Compact or apartment-sized appliances are designed specifically for small kitchens and often work just as well for everyday use. Sometimes it's about choosing what you truly need rather than what you think a kitchen should have. Even small design details have a big impact in a small kitchen. Hardware, faucets, and finishes all contribute to how cohesive the space feels. Simple, streamlined designs tend to work best because they don't add unnecessary visual noise. When everything feels intentional, the kitchen naturally feels more put together and spacious. Decorating a small kitchen is about being selective. You don't need a lot of decor for the space to feel personal. A small plant, a piece of art, or a favorite mug on display can add warmth and personality without cluttering the room. Negative space is important too. Letting certain areas stay empty helps the kitchen breathe. One of the biggest advantages of small kitchens is that they're easier to update over time. Because the space is limited, even small changes can make a noticeable difference. New lighting, updated cabinet hardware, or a fresh coat of paint can completely change how the kitchen feels without a major renovation. Small spaces are forgiving in that way, and they invite experimentation. At the end of the day, the best small space kitchen design ideas are the ones that reflect how you actually live. Your kitchen doesn't need to be perfect or impressive. It just needs to work for you and make you feel comfortable in your home. When you focus on light, function, and a design that feels natural to your lifestyle, a small kitchen can feel just as beautiful and satisfying as a much larger one.